Da-na-na-na-na-na-na.
All right. You look like you're about to get attacked because you have like Alfred Hitchcock's shadow behind you again.
That's perfect. Except your hand went in then it ruined it.
Yeah.
Wait.
So, to quote the bard, why are we three gathered here? No, what I said. When shall we three meet again? Except we're meeting now. Okay, I completely screwed that one up. But anyway, welcome to Adult Beverages.
That was definitely one of our most interesting intros to an episode. So, we'll get Mal back on track here. So today is, I don't remember if it was National or International Malbec Day. Basically, it's an excuse to drink some wine. You are much more experienced in wine than I am. And then I said, I was like, hey, like, what's a good Malbec? And you were like, I don't really know. And then,
it's funny, because do you drink a lot of Malbec?
No. I don't think, and it's interesting because I think part of it is it's not, like, readily available. I literally I went up and down the aisles like 3 times before I found a nice bottle. And by nice bottle, I mean the only bottle of Malbec they had.
That's really interesting. So, yeah, Malbec was I don't tend to buy it, because in America, most of it comes from Argentina or Chile, which, nothing wrong with that. It's just, I prefer other wines. But I didn't realize that a type of wine that I drank a lot in France, called Cahors, was made in the south of France from Malbec. And so, actually, it turns out I have drunk a lot of it, and it's one of my favorite grapes. One of the interesting facts about it is, the reason I didn't know that is there are 30 different names that the French have for Malbec. None of them are Malbec.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, it's so you probably might have had all sorts of like cheap red block that was Malbec that wasn't.
I wonder if there is another. Well, first of all, I wonder if I would have went to like the Argentinian aisle or Argentine aisle for like the liquor store if they would have had more Malbec. A and B. I wonder if I had passed other bottles of Malbec that were under a different name.
That's interesting. I wonder that, because I only found it in the Argentinian and Chilean section. So let's talk about the one you've got, because.
So I, as you put, I have the Francis Ford Coppola. So the liquor store made me an offer that I couldn't refuse, and by that I mean I couldn't refuse this one because this was the only bottle they had.
And that's interesting. So where is that made?
This is made in. I think it's in California. I believe that's where his vineyard is.
Yeah.
Gyersville, California.
Because that's interesting. Malbec was originally used as one of the grape varieties that they would mix with Bordeaux to make famous Bordeaux wine. And it wasn't very popular in America, but recently they went from like 400 hectares to like 2,000 hectares. And it's used a lot in the blends, and I'm pretty much at the end of the Wikipedia part where it got to in the Wikipedia article. So
that's 75% of Malbec is made in Argentina. So, or excuse me, 75% of the grapes grown are grown in Argentina. So that is, I think that's my contribution. I will say this. So I had some with dinner tonight. And it has a slightly different color.
Interesting. So I'll open mine while you're talking about that. What do you mean a different color?
So it's slightly darker than most red wines.
Yeah.
So there's kind of a I don't know if you'd call it a magenta was what it was called online. I don't know if I would necessarily say magenta. It's definitely got a purple hue to it, though.
Like plummy.
Yes, plummy is definitely that's definitely an adjective for it. And they also mentioned how once you're done, there will be kind of a purplish residue in the glass. And I did notice that when I finished my first glass tonight.
That's really interesting. So I got this stuff, Finca Las Moras, Barrel Select. This is Argentinian, and it's 2018 vintage. I got it because it was aged, I think, for 12 months in oak barrels, and I like that. Oh, here we go. And I'm just looking. I can see immediately. There's like this bright There is. It's almost like in England we have the blackcurrant juice called Ribena, and it almost looks like that. Pour myself quite a heavy measure there.
It's good. I definitely, personally, I think this is a really good. It's a good midway point between a dry and like a sweet wine.
Yeah, it's quite full-bodied. It's almost reminiscent of like Merlot, which isn't my favorite, but
yeah.
And it's
I like this. It's it's interesting because I had steak for dinner, and that is not the recommended food for it. So recommended is a dark meat poultry. So I assume like dark meat turkey or chicken
or duck.
Or duck, yeah. Or a very lean red meat. And I did not have a lean red meat today.
What would that be like?
It was nonetheless, it was still good. Yes, yeah. Or, what was it? They said buffalo? They offered like it was like something you'd get at Clyde's. It wasn't like a regular, like, I don't think the family supermarket around the corner is going to be carrying what they suggested.
They have the best horses in the world in Argentina, and I think they eat them. So maybe that's. I like it. It's funny. It's a lot. I drink a lot of Shiraz and Australian stuff that tends to be like kind of fat, and you taste it down here. Whereas this seems a lot smoother and sort of on the front of the tongue, but it's actually really, really enjoyable.
Yeah, no, I definitely like this. So, since you're a wine connoisseur, something that I've always wondered about, why would you decant red wine? What is the process behind decanting?
So, my understanding is that you would decant red wine because then you're pouring it, you're mixing it up, and you get lots of oxygen in there, which changes it, lets all of the smell and the aroma and things out. The problem is, of course, that as the oxidization process continues, it goes bad. So you can decant red wine, but then you should drink it, in a reasonable space of time. And I mean, back before, I've got to the stage where you pop open your wine and you pour it and you drink it and stuff like that. But technically, if you buy a bottle of wine, you're meant to open it and leave it for an hour to get the oxygen, or decant it, or you can get all those gadgets which like swirl it around. But it's all about getting the oxygen in there to start the oxidization process.
Huh.
And that's
interesting.
When they say a wine is corked, what that means is the cork, the airtight seal broke, and so the wine inside oxidized. And what you'll normally get is like a really strong sulfur smell. It's like if you've ever like opened a wine and found it's corked, it's like there is no mistaking. You smell it and it's like, whoa.
Interesting.
Ironically, the only place I've ever had a corked glass of wine, I was with Tina in Trump Towers in New York City, and I ordered this glass of Trump wine, and it was corked. It's the only corked wine I've ever had in my life, and I was just like, no. Was
this the time you had the interesting jacket?
Yes, Tina bought this beautiful. What do they call that? Paisley, and it was exactly the same paisley as the carpet at Trump Towers, and I'm not even joking. I lay down and it was like identical. And then
the carpet matched the jacket.
Yes. And also people were like, "Why are you lying on the floor? Is this some kind of protest?"
I was going to say, they probably thought you were protesting. Because what year? It was like right around the time Trump got elected, right?
I think it was right after, because the plan, it was our anniversary, and the plan had been to go to Tiffany's for breakfast at Tiffany's, and you need a reservation, and then Trump Towers is like just opposite.
Yeah.
I also feel, as somebody, Donald Trump doesn't drink, so he has no business putting his name on wine. But I'm just going to say...
Donald Trump doesn't... Is that like a thing? Donald Trump doesn't drink?
He doesn't drink. No, his brother was an alcoholic, and so he never drinks. He doesn't drink.
Interesting.
And I'm going to sound very like...
That's really...
At least with
I honestly had no idea about that.
Yeah, Obama brewed his own beer. They had the White House beer. And do you remember, though, they had one particular incident, they called it the Beer Summit, where they had, a cop and a professor had a huge argument, and Obama brought them to the White House, and they had a beer and talked about it.
That's amazing. I don't recall that story.
Yeah, so... But yeah, Donald Trump doesn't... I mean, good Lord, can you imagine being stuck on an aeroplane with him if you don't have a drink?
Does he get offended when other people around him drink?
I don't.
Because I know there are people who are like, no, you know, like, don't drink in my presence. Because you're saying his brother was the alcoholic, so...
Yeah. No, I think it's a personal choice he makes, and I don't think... he wouldn't have his name on wine if he didn't, you know...
That's true. That's a good point. That's also interesting that he would put his name on a wine, and even though he doesn't drink for the purpose of his brother being an alcoholic.
I guess. I don't know.
That's a really weird... That's such a fascinating anecdote. That's so weird.
It's kind of bizarre.
Biden doesn't drink either.
Oh, apparently, Tina just informed me that Joe Biden doesn't drink either. What is this? I'm not sure I'm down with like, basically America was founded by a bunch of drunk people.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm like, so I guess Yards Brewing isn't going to have, 200 years from now, isn't going to have, like, President Biden or President Trump beers like they have, you know, Washington and Jefferson.
Well, the Trump beer will be non-alcoholic Russian prostitute urine.
Yeah, it comes out of a spigot.
Yes.
And it just kind of drizzles, yeah.
Apparently, Trump stopped drinking alcohol because his brother died of, presumably from alcohol-related reasons at age 43.
Yeah. Okay. That's wow. We legendarily go on tangents, but that was quite a tangent there.
That was a new one.
But I'm enjoying.
Well, I mean, it wouldn't be a.
Oh, go ahead.
It wouldn't be an episode of Adult Beverages if we didn't go off on a tangent. So
that is true. I have to admit, I'm enjoying this wine foray. Like, what wine would interest you?
This is definitely.
I was just going to say, what wine would interest you maybe of trying in the future or something like that?
I don't know. I'm not a huge, like... I like pairing wine with food, but I'm not, like, a huge, like... Oh, I like this, you know, this vineyard, or you know, like, I wouldn't go to a wine tasting. Like, this past weekend, I was in Brooklyn for a tuxedo fitting, for my cousin's wedding, and we, after basically I didn't want to pay the tolls and drive an hour and a half, for like a 10-minute fitting. So we drove around. We went to a couple of different breweries. So I can't imagine that, like, if I were in, like, you know, Napa Valley, that I would be, you know, like, oh, let's go on, like, a wine tour. I happen to be in the area. Like, I don't, you know, there's plenty of vineyards in New Jersey that I've been
on a wine tour with you.
Did we go on a? Oh yeah, like, for your birthday. I was like, wait, we went on a wine tour?
It was clearly effective.
Yeah. No, there's a winery like 10 minutes from my apartment, and I've never gone. It's never even been like a, hey, I have nothing going on today, let's go check out what they have type of thing.
I mean, I enjoyed some of the ones we did in, especially in Pennsylvania. But yeah, it's like beer is, I don't know, they're different things. I can't wait to go back. I want to go and take the dog to Evil Genius and their dog garden if it's open again.
Yeah. And the thing is, I don't want to say, like,
you're not your wife. Nice.
What did Tina say?
She said, I want to take the dog to Evil Genius, not the wife. It's like, no, you would come too.
Yeah. Which one would be on a leash?
Both of them. They'd be on the same leash, attached to other ends of each other.
Depends on how
okay.
it is.
But So maybe yeah, because we have to think of like what the next. We had a very triumphant February.
We did, and we had. You know what? I would like to do. I would like to do another episode with Chris.
Yep.
And so look for that in the future. And we have to make plans to do the world's strongest beer, the world's beer with the beer with the world's highest ABV. I have that in my closet at the moment. So look for that in a future episode. I think I want to do that. I think I'm at like 880 on my Untapped list. Let's do that for like 900.
I mean, hey, if you start like really, really putting in the work, you could even do that as like 999.
I was thinking about doing it for 1,000, but I don't know if I want to hold off that long.
It doesn't need to be that long. It's...
If I really, I have some days off of work. I can just take off of work and then just drink for a couple of days, and really pace myself, and I mean, listen, if I did to do 100, realistically, all you have to do is do 3 different beers a day for a month, and then that's 100.
Yeah, it's funny because actually then it becomes like getting the different beers becomes the issue.
Yeah, I would say getting the different beers and also the money for that.
Because then you think, if sometimes you can find places that sell them by the bottle, but otherwise you have to buy a 6-pack, and then it's like...
Yeah. Oh, also, so listen, if you're watching this video and you're a fan of ours, first of all, hit the like and subscribe button. That's first. Second, go to Beer Throne. So we have these awesome IPA glasses, which I have to bring you one. I have 2 that we ordered from beerthrone.com, and you get 10% off when you use our code ADBEV. I think it's just ADBEV. Maybe ADBEV10. I don't know. I should have checked this before. But you get 10% off, and yeah, that's second. Third, reach out to Bradley Brew Project in New Jersey, because they have what is the best lager, and we would love to have them on the show. I think we need to, so if you're watching this, be like, hey, Bran and Roland want to come to your establishment, email them back, because I reached out to them, they haven't responded. So, I mean, truly, that needs to be on the show.
I follow them on Instagram, and they've got a killer Instagram.
It's nuts. Bradley Brew Project's lager is probably the best lager I've ever had.
And you're not a lager fan.
I'm not a lager fan, but I know you are, which is why we need to do it.
Absolutely, that's it. I am the lager lout.
Yeah.
So, okay, well, that's it, and I'll put that code down there with my technical jiggery pokery. So, and then we should do an IPA episode where we actually try it in the glasses. Maybe try it with that. We'll do that.
We should do like an IPA series. Let's plan for that. Let's do like 6. We'll do like a 6-pack of IPAs. We'll get like 6 different IPAs, and then we'll do them in those glasses.
I think that sounds fantastic.
Awesome.
Right. Well, on that note, I guess we shall wrap up this episode, but we'll be back very soon.
Yep. Have a Malbec today. Maybe eat some duck.
Yep. I mean, we live just opposite a lake, so it's pick your own duck if you can run fast enough.
Sure. But don't blame us if you get sick and your goose is cooked.
Which is funny, actually, because if you buy duck, you should leave it to hang for 4 weeks or put it in a freezer, because then you will kill the parasites inside it.
Right. And if you don't do that, then you'll be singing your swan song.
Yeah. So you come with puns, I will come with the duck preparation advice. Yeah.
No. I'm sorry. These are just foul jokes.
I think all the friends have done now.
I'm going to think of something really funny to follow that up with in an hour. Or tomorrow when I'm in the shower or something. It'd be like...
Listen, just ponder it, okay?
Right. And on that note, we will see you next time.
See you next time.